there. And then I was like, okay, period. And then we both just sat there, twiddling our thumbs, writing, and then wrote that verse, sent it back. She sent something back for her. I sent something.
Did Billie Eilish write a hit song by literally just twiddling her thumbs? The secret will shock you.
And stuff. They were showing me the schedule for the whole year. And I sat there and was totally silent and totally still, and just tears just streamed down my face. That was a horrible day. Gosh. I mean, you know, I was had just turned 17, and life was seeming very daunting, and ended up being even more intense than I ever cried about. If I had really known how it would all go, I would have been bawling my eyes out for days, but also I would have been excited at the same time. And stuff. They were showing me the schedule for the whole year, and I sat there and was totally silent and totally still, and just tears just streamed down my face.
Stream down my face. The phrase stream down my face creates a powerful visual of tears flowing continuously and heavily, like a small river or stream. It's much more descriptive than just saying cried a lot. It emphasizes a silent, overwhelming, and uncontrollable emotional response. This expression is perfect for storytelling when you want to convey deep sadness or being completely overwhelmed with emotion without making a sound. During the movie's touching finale, tears just streamed down his face. It shows a strong, silent, emotional reaction to a powerful scene. He was deeply moved, and the tears flowed freely without any sobbing.
Horrible day. Gosh. I mean, you know, I was had just turned 17, and life was seeming very daunting, and ended up being even
Daunting. The word daunting describes something that seems very difficult, challenging, or intimidating to deal with. Billie uses it here to express how overwhelming her future schedule and life path felt at just 17. It's not just hard, it implies a sense of apprehension or fear about your ability to handle the task ahead. It's a fantastic word to use when a challenge feels so big, it discourages you before you even start. For a new programmer, learning the entire code base can seem like a daunting task. It describes a task that appears overwhelmingly complex and intimidating. The sheer size of the challenge makes it feel difficult to even begin.
If I had really known how it would all go, I would have been bawling my eyes out for days, but also I would have been excited at the same time.
Bawling my eyes out. The idiom bawling my eyes out is a very intense and informal way to say you were crying extremely hard. It's not just a few tears. It suggests loud, uncontrollable sobbing for a prolonged period. The imagery of crying so much your eyes could fall out is an exaggeration used to emphasize the depth of the emotion, whether it's sadness, grief, or even overwhelming joy. It adds a dramatic flair to your storytelling. He was bawling his eyes out after his favorite team lost the championship in the final seconds. It expresses extreme and noisy crying due to intense disappointment. The loss was so devastating that it led to a very powerful emotional outburst.
I'll see you next time, and the time after that, and the time after that. Till I'm an old lady. Speaking of old ladies, Mom!
This is my mom. She is sick as a booty.
I don't mind, I can stay here that long.
I'll see you next time. And the time after that, and the time after that. Till I'm an old lady.
The time after that. Using the phrase the time after that repetitively is a stylistic way to say and again into the future. It creates a sense of endless continuation. Billie uses it to show her long-term commitment to this annual interview, stretching far into her future. It's a simple but effective way to emphasize that something will happen repeatedly over a long period, making the idea of forever feel more tangible and personal. We loved our vacation spot so much, we booked it for next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. It expresses a plan that will repeat continuously for the foreseeable future. The repetition shows immense satisfaction and the desire to continue the experience indefinitely.
Lady. Speaking of old ladies, Mom!
This is my mom.
Speaking of, the expression speaking of is a classic transition phrase used to connect the current topic to something related that you just thought of. Billie just mentioned becoming an old lady, which immediately makes her think of her mom. It's a smooth and natural way to change the subject or introduce a new element into the conversation that is linked to the last thing said. It makes your conversational pivots feel logical and effortless. This coffee is amazing. Speaking of coffee, have you tried that new cafe downtown? It uses a keyword from the previous statement, coffee, to naturally introduce a related topic. It's a clever way to guide the conversation without it feeling abrupt.
Mom!
This is my mom. She is sick as a booty.
I don't mind.
Sick as a booty. This is a very unique and playful slang phrase. Sick in slang means cool or awesome. The addition of as a booty is a creative and slightly silly intensifier. Billie is saying her mom is incredibly cool, stylish, or impressive. It's a very informal, quirky compliment. Using phrases like this shows a high level of comfort with creative and modern slang, perfect for adding personality to casual conversations. Her dance moves in that video were sick as a booty. It means her dancing was exceptionally cool and impressive. The phrase serves as a fun, high-energy compliment that really stands out.
That. Like, that's private. And I think I wasn't as proud of it. And I think that now in my life and where I am in my career, I really stand for my music. Like, I feel really proud of it.
There's this one song called Lunch that I think people might like a lot. There's a song called Birds of a Feather.
I wasn't as proud of it. And I think that now in my life and where I am in my career, I really stand for my music. Like,
Stand for. To stand for something means to believe in, support, and represent an idea or a cause. In this context, Billie is saying she feels her music truly represents her values and artistic identity. It implies a deep sense of pride and confidence. It's not just that she makes music, it's that she believes in it and is willing to be defined by it. It's a strong phrase that communicates conviction and authenticity. As a leader, she made it clear that she would always stand for honesty and transparency. It shows her core principles and what she represents. She will actively support and defend these values in her role.
I feel really proud of it.
There's this one song called Lunch that I think.
Lunch. In English, song titles can often be a single, common word that is given a new, deeper meaning within the song's context. Lunch is a perfect example. While it literally means the midday meal, in the context of her song, it's used metaphorically to express desire and attraction in a very clever and suggestive way. Understanding this requires listeners to look beyond the literal definition and consider the artistic, figurative meaning the artist has created. In his poem, Highway, the road isn't just a road, it's a metaphor for life's journey. It describes how artists use simple, everyday words to represent complex ideas. The title's real meaning is unlocked by analyzing the content it represents.
People might like a lot. There's a song called Birds of a Feather. Damn.
Birds of a feather. The full idiom is birds of a feather flock together, which means that people with similar interests, personalities, or backgrounds tend to associate with one another. By titling her song Birds of a Feather, Billie evokes this idea of connection and similarity. It suggests the song is about finding someone who is just like you, a kindred spirit. Using just part of the idiom makes it poetic and instantly recognizable. I wasn't surprised to learn they were best friends. They're both artists, so birds of a feather. It explains why two people are close by, pointing out their shared interests. It implies their friendship is natural because they are so similar.
Don't do that thing again where you just do what somebody else wants to do. We're not gonna let somebody take away my sparkle, as they say.
Solid advice. And I haven't done that. That really has stuck in.
Somebody else wants to do. We're not gonna let somebody take away my sparkle, as they say.
Take away my sparkle. The phrase, take away my sparkle, is a beautiful and metaphorical way to talk about losing your inner light, joy, or unique personality due to someone else's negative influence. Sparkle represents that special quality that makes you who you are. Billie is making a promise to herself not to let others dim her spirit or change her essence. It's an empowering expression about protecting your individuality and happiness. After leaving that toxic job, she felt like she finally got her sparkle back. It describes regaining one's confidence, energy, and unique personality after a negative experience. She is back to her vibrant self.
Solid advice. And I haven't.
Solid versus good. Calling advice solid is a step above just calling it good. While good advice is helpful, solid advice implies that it is reliable, well-founded, and dependable. It suggests the advice is strong and won't fail you, like a solid foundation. You can trust it completely. It's a more impactful and confident way to endorse a piece of guidance you've received. My mentor gave me some solid advice on how to negotiate my salary, and it worked perfectly. This means the advice was not just good in theory, but proven to be effective and reliable in practice. It was dependable advice that led to a successful outcome.
That really has stuck in my head.
Stuck in my head. When something has stuck in your head, it means it has remained in your memory and you continue to think about it. It's memorable and has a lasting impact. This can apply to a song you can't stop humming, but in this context, it refers to advice that has deeply resonated with her. The advice was so powerful that it became a permanent part of her thinking process, influencing her actions long after she first heard it. That one line from the poem has stuck in my head all day. It was so powerful. It describes a phrase or idea that is so memorable it keeps replaying in your mind. Its impact was strong enough to make a lasting mental impression.
Of your underwear. And then I was like, okay, period. And then we both just sat there, twiddling our thumbs, writing, and then wrote that verse, sent it back. She sent something back for her. I sent something back for her. And then we literally shot a video like 2 days later. And then the video got edited the next day and it came out like the next day. Color of your underwear. And then I was like, okay, period. And then we both just sat.
Period. Using the word period at the end of a statement is modern slang that means, and that's the end of the discussion. It's used to add emphasis and signal that what you've just said is final, non-negotiable, and definitive. Billie uses it to show strong agreement and to assert that the idea is so good, there's nothing more to add. It's a confident, powerful way to end a thought in casual conversation. That was the best performance of the night, period. It emphasizes that there is no room for debate. This statement is presented as an undisputed fact, and the speaker will not entertain other opinions.
Okay, period. And then we both just sat there, twiddling our thumbs, writing, and then wrote that verse, sent it back.
Twiddling our thumbs. Typically, the idiom twiddling our thumbs means waiting for something to happen while having nothing to do. It implies boredom and inactivity. However, Billie uses it here in a slightly sarcastic or humorous way. They weren't actually bored. They were actively thinking and writing. She uses this phrase to humorously downplay the intense creative process, making it sound casual and effortless, as if the ideas just came to them while they were waiting around. We were just twiddling our thumbs at the airport for 5 hours because our flight was delayed. It describes being stuck in a situation with nothing productive to do. This is the literal meaning, being bored and idle while waiting. What are you working on? Oh, just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, he said, while coding an entire app. It shows the humorous use of the idiom. He is ironically downplaying his intense focus and hard work by pretending to be idle.
Back. She sent something back for her. I sent something back.
Sent something back. The phrase sent something back is a common and natural collocation in English, especially when talking about a collaborative process involving correspondence. It refers to replying or returning a piece of work after you have reviewed it or added to it. In this digital collaboration, it perfectly describes the back-and-forth creative exchange of sending music files between artists. It's a simple, clear, and essential phrase for describing remote teamwork. I reviewed the document and sent it back with my comments this morning. It describes the action of returning a shared piece of work after completing your part. It's a standard part of a collaborative workflow.
And I always have, and even when I dreaded those tours and hated the whole process, I loved performing at the end of the day. I had this moment like a year ago, I think, where I was kind of like, touring doesn't have to be miserable, and I don't have to just sit through it and take it. I can make it fun. I mean, I'm the fucking boss, for God's sake. Performing at the end of the day. I had this moment like a year ago, I think, where I was kind of like, touring doesn't have to be miserable.
Miserable. The word miserable means extremely unhappy or uncomfortable. It's a very strong word that conveys a deep sense of suffering. When Billie says touring doesn't have to be miserable, she's highlighting the extreme negative feelings she used to associate with it. Her realization wasn't just that it could be better. It was that it didn't have to be a source of profound unhappiness. This choice of word emphasizes the significant mental shift she experienced. Camping in the constant rain for a week was a miserable experience. It describes a situation that caused extreme discomfort and unhappiness. The conditions were so bad that they led to a state of suffering.
And I don't have to just sit through it and take it. I can
sit through it and take it. This is a powerful idiomatic phrase that means to passively endure a difficult or unpleasant situation without trying to change it. Sit through it implies forced endurance, like sitting through a boring movie. Take it means to accept the suffering without resistance. Together, they paint a picture of helplessness. Billie's realization is that she doesn't have to be a passive victim of her circumstances. She can take control. He hated the long, pointless meetings, but he felt he had to just sit through them and take it. It describes passively accepting and enduring a negative situation at work without complaining or trying to change it. He feels powerless to do anything about it.
make it fun. I mean, I'm the fucking boss, for God's sake. And
For God's sake. The phrase, for God's sake, is an exclamation used to express frustration, impatience, or to add strong emphasis to a point. Here, Billie uses it to emphasize the obviousness of her realization. She is in charge, so of course she can change things. It adds a powerful emotional weight to her statement, conveying her previous frustration with herself for not realizing it sooner. It's a common way to say, "This should be obvious." "Oh, for God's sake, just tell me what happened. Stop being so mysterious." It shows impatience and frustration. The speaker is exasperated and wants the other person to get to the point.
Hope you learned something cool today with English by Movie. Hit like, subscribe for more, and let's chat in the comments. Don't miss what's coming next. Bye for now.